Have you pressed ready, Ryan? Fuck's sake.
Good evening, Noob Gamers. We are live, coming to your front room, to your mobile phone, wherever you're watching us tonight. We are live on Twitch, and it is race 1 of the Noob Gamers Championship. I'm excited. You should be excited at home. We've got a whole evening's worth of entertainment for you this evening, as we have some touring car action at Silverstone, and it is sure to be a very, very exciting evening for the drivers, for myself, and for you guys at home. And hopefully you'll stick with us throughout the evening this evening and take in every single second of the action with me here tonight. But I'm not doing this alone, of course. I am joined in the commentary box by the one, the only. It is Ilium, who's going to be live with me. Ilium, are you there?
Yes, hello. I am absolutely buzzing for this.
Absolutely buzzing, my friend. I think we've got 26, 27 racers. We've got touring cars, which can take a bit of, bump and grind. It's going to be madness.
It's huge. It's absolutely huge, yeah. I think this is shaping up to be possibly, and this is saying something, possibly the best race ever on the New Gamers Championship.
That's a massive call. That's a massive
call.
Obviously, if you're in the chat and you're feeling like it and you think this might be the best race ever, drop it in there and see what happens. But only time will tell, Jamie, of course. Only time will tell.
Absolutely.
I believe the lobbies are starting to get warm. The cars are getting warm as well in the background. But while everything's warming up in the background, we're going to give you a little look now of the track that the racers are going to be racing in this evening, just so you guys at home can see exactly what to expect this evening. So here comes our race guide for you right now. So this is the Silverstone International track that the racers will be racing in this evening. It's not very long, just over the 2-mile mark. However, there's still 10 turns for the racers to navigate this evening. And of course, in the United Kingdom, where the Noob Gamers studio is based, lots of turns, lots of straights, which should mean lots of action for you guys at home and for our racers. So let's take you on a full lap now so you can see exactly what the racers have in store this evening. So a lovely long straight here for the racers to start with, building up a decent bit of pace into the first right hand corner. Now the corners this evening have a lot of runoff, as you can see, to the left and the right, not many walls to contend with, so lots of space to get around, which should limit the amount of crashes, but still provide the room as we go tight into this right hand bend now, where that could be the corner where we start to see sparks fly as we move down into a gentle left, and it's another little opportunity to get the foot down before again it's hard on the brakes into this right hand corner. And here comes the long straight, the long back end straight that gives the racers the opportunity to really go for it here. Out of that corner we could see some overtaking, we could get the slipstreams going, with lots of packs of cars down this track. As you can see, it's really, really long, so not much for the drivers to think about. But then we start taking another cheeky little right-hand bend here, not too hard on the brakes, enough to keep up a decent pace before we start hitting one of the trickiest corners on the track. It's a naughty little left to right chicane, which is going to cause the driver some problems, although there's lots of space either side, not many walls. Of course, you don't want to be going on the gravel this evening, getting the dirt on those tyres, which is going to make your life a nightmare. And you can pretty much go full throttle into that last bend as we hit the home straight now. So there we go. That is the track that the racers will be racing around this evening. Lots of open road, some tricky corners chucked in there as well. Jamie, what do you think our racers are going to expect from this track this evening?
Well, I think they're going to be in for an absolute treat for overtaking tonight. That straight is primed for it, don't you think?
Yeah, the straight itself, you know, if you can get a decent speed out of that corner and get yourself on the straight, you know, you're absolutely loving it. But, you know, the little chicanes are the ones that are doing it for me. There's, you know, the one near the end, the little left to righter, but early doors, you know, corner number 2, I think corner number 4, they're really, really tight on the right-hand bend. So lots for our drivers to contend with this evening. But let's have a quick look on the Twitch chat right now. We've got Took dropping in to say hello. T-Mac says, here we go. Muddy Squid joins us this evening and says, this is going to be madness. Bob Humper is, of course, there, getting himself ready. The race time is go, go, go from 024 SCP. Curly, I'm going to go with, says, go on, Ben, I believe in you. Not Benjamin 2010, just says the word technology. Not sure what he's doing there. And Sin just says, let's go. So here we go. You know, it's all kicking off, Jamie. Who do you think is going to be, you know, up and around the top places this evening?
It's tough to say because there's so many racers and there's quite a few new ones to the stream. But I'd probably hedge my bets and say some of the traditionally quick guys will be up there. So you've got Bob, Trevor, the Humps. They're all there or thereabouts, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing really well. To be fair, they're always up there in the New Gamers Championships. But just before the stream started, we have to give a shout out. New person to the stream this evening, Muddy Squid, has dropped us a follow just before we started this evening. Really, really appreciate that. And of course, you can drop us a follow, drop us a subscribe, whatever you guys feel like doing. You can even donate. But of course, all we expect as a minimum is you sit there, relax, and enjoy all the action that we have in store for you this evening. So while the practice lobby gets itself set, it's now we turn our attentions away from the track and we look towards the cars that the racers will be racing in this evening, the all-important touring car vehicles. So let's give you a little look now of what the racers are going to be driving in this evening. So here it is, everyone in a Renault Megane this evening. We've got the touring cars and they're go, go, go with a front wheel drive, a top speed of 166 mile an hour and 0 to 100 in just under the 5-second mark. A lot heavier than the cars we saw on the Sunday stream, which were of course just under the £1,000 mark. This one nearly 3 times that as we start to get a look around the vehicle itself now. These cars certainly are a lot more durable than the previous stream and can really take a battering around the track, which should mean for some neck and neck racing. So while we see the car in static now, let's have a look at it going around the track in action now. So there we go. That was a look around the cars that these drivers will be using for the next 5 weeks. Because remember, this is just race 1 of the Noob Gamers Championships, which is a 4-event competition. But of course, we're not streaming next week due to unavailability of various organisers. But we will, of course, be back the next week. So this is going to go on for 5 weeks in its entirety. 26, 27 races, Jamie. The cars are a little bit durable, can take a bit of a battering. How many crashes are you putting your money on this evening?
But when you say crashes, I mean damage is on. Are you expecting some retirements from the crashes, or are you thinking there's just going to be some little nudges, little spins, but all pretty good, good fair fun?
It should be good, fair fun. We saw on Sunday, the wheels literally falling off of cars as they were going around corners. I don't think we're going to go to those sort of extremes this evening. But
No.
with all these cars going around the track with the tight corners that we've got, I will be amazed if we manage the first lap absolutely clean. I just can't see that for myself.
There's just so many cars, isn't there? I mean, there's some of those, really slow braking zones into fast straights. That's where the action's going to be.
Yes, exactly. Those tight right-hand burns early doors, everyone backing themselves up. If you're a little bit late on the brakes, or if the person in front of you is early on the brakes, lots of trouble can ensue for us all. So, but yeah, as I'm just looking at the lobby now, I believe we're pretty much ready to go. Just one or two drivers ready to, press the ready button before we go. Just a simple 10-minute practice before we hit into qualifying. And before we do that, let's have a cheeky little video from our sponsors this evening. Of course, Wolfies.co.uk are supporting us this evening, bringing you all the action. They've been supporting our racing streams from day dot, and we obviously massively appreciate it. So much so that we've given them a little bit of advertisement space this evening, just to give you a little flavour of what they're all about. I hope you enjoy this. So there we go. That was a message, little message from our sponsors, Wolfies.co.uk. Of course, massive supporters of this stream. And as I can see in the background now, Jamie, I understand that the practice is nearly underway and we should be getting some racing very, very shortly. So let's go over now to the track as we start practice this evening. So here we go. Practice starts. Jamie, what can you tell us who we're on board with?
We're on board with Razan. Oh, give me a tip on that one. You're the expert.
Razan Snell Freddy. There it is.
Razan Snell Freddy. Of course, no, that is so simple.
Yeah. So yeah, we're on board with Razan Snell Freddy, just about to hit the main straight now. Look at all these cars herring around this first track.
I mean, that sort of made your point immediately for you there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, how many cars you got there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all in close proximity. There is a staggered start in practice, but there's no particular staggered start as much when race day hits, when everyone's going from that standing start. So with even just a few cars, doing the rounds, I'm sure we're going to see some action. Don't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one thing actually it would be worth noting is it would seem that absolutely almost, in fact, maybe even everyone has chosen the exact same car.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, I know the guys have been doing a lot of practice themselves, and they have all chosen the Renault Megane this evening out of the touring car options. Obviously, there's obviously a reason for that. They must be the fastest going round. But what it does mean is, of course, all the cars are the same, all the defaults are the same. So it only comes down to racing ability this evening.
Yeah, I think it's worth us pointing that out actually, because this is a new thing for the New Games Championship, isn't it? The enforcement of only default setups, which just means that it does keep that playing field even between, because we've got a good mix of more seasoned drivers, haven't we? But also some actual noob gamers, as is the name. Yep. So it just helps to even that out a bit.
Exactly right. It will just come down to ability. There's no little tricks that can be had in your car setups this evening. It is just pure racing, unadulterated ability. As we're on board with Boban, who's slightly off the track. But I mean, the thing for me, which it makes this a nice race to start with, as we just jump on board the cockpit of Boban. As we said earlier when we took the viewers around the track, as he goes straight into the back there. Apart from this straight here where you've got this really close wall on the right hand side, the rest of the track is really, really open, which means, you know, it allows for mistakes to creep in. You know, you're not going to cause too many problems. You know, you can see this corner now, how much space there is either side of the track. So it's
That's
a really good
hallmarks.
starting one, you know, compared to other tracks that it could have been.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the hallmarks of a traditional racing circuit. It's like a Formula One star circuit like this, rather than a track circuit. There's so much runoff space, and these days these big tracks are so forgiving. But what it does, there's pros and cons obviously of that. But what it does give you is the ability for people to really push it, which could make for some absolutely fantastic times and some great racing.
Exactly right, yeah. There's no harm in pushing it into these open corners because you know you're not going to end up in a wall and lose your front end or lose a few tyres, etc. So why the hell not? You might as well just get stuck in and push it as long as you can. So you know, that's the name of the game tonight. Getting stuck in, getting those points on the board, early doors for the championship, and going from there. But let's head back over to the chat. Let's see who else has joined us this evening. So OTL Alex said, I wish he could be racing tonight, but he's doing his own racing this evening. Obviously, good luck in those races, Dave. Alex, you know, we always want to see people associate with our stream do well in the races that they do. Bob's calling the car ugly. Front wheel drive fun though, so he's going to enjoy that. Wheels McGee has jumped on the stream for us. Our longest subscriber to the Noob Gamer stream says, sup snitches. I don't think we've snitched on anyone yet, have we, Jamie? You need to be fair, but you know, he can come in with that.
He's a strange individual, so
He
you know,
is a
we'll let
strange
him go.
individual, yes, indeed. But the good news on a Thursday is those practice times that we have right ahead of us now. You know, we've still got over 10 minutes remaining, which does give us the opportunity to jump on board with some of our drivers this evening and just have a little word for their expectations of what they think, you know, how they're going to do for the race ahead. So let's do that now. Let's see if we can grab some people into the commentary box. I think, you know, it would be remiss of us not to start with the champion from the last, you know, the last championship that we had, and that's of course Bob Hump from Team Double Hump. So let's see if we can bring him straight into the commentary box now. I'm not sure if you're able to do that for us, my man Jamie, and we'll grab a word with Bob Hump.
Yeah, I will just go and grab him now. Actually, I can because I'm not an admin in the Discord.
Oh, well, there
channel.
you go. Look,
Apologies.
setup problems left, right, and centre. Let's see if I can get Bob in the commentary box. There he is. So we've brought him into the commentary box this evening. This is Bob Hump 3, winner of Season 1, of course, of the Noob Gamers Championship. Bob, how are you this evening, my friend?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to be honest.
Good. That's what we like to hear.
I have zero expectations.
Okay. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I would say a bad thing. Usually I'm relatively confident. I come in here, I'm a bit cocky, and away I go, but I hate front-wheel drive cars.
So are you
Why is
not
that,
expecting yourself to be towards the top end of the grid this evening then?
No, I don't think so. I don't know, there's just something about not being able to do a cool drift that upsets me.
Yeah. They seem almost impossible to spin, these cars, I have to say, though, which you must be a fan of.
What are you implying?
Well, just thinking back to the first few races of the first championship, you built yourself a little reputation.
I was hoping I'd got rid of that by now, to be honest. But no, I mean, I'll do all right, but I don't particularly like them.
Fair enough. And in terms of the track this evening, Silverstone very forgiving, so we're hoping to see yourself and the rest of the drivers this evening really going for it, because, you know, there's no walls to smash into either side.
It should be a really good race to watch. There's no denying that. Everyone's going to be really close. We've decided to go with fixed setups as well, so it should be like even closer than usual.
Tight,
But
yeah.
these cars are, as William said, they're so forgiving. They're so much fun as well. You know, when you're tucked up behind someone, you can just really get close. I mean, they might not be super quick and anything like that, and they're a bit boring, but they will provide really good racing, no doubt.
Good. Well, that's what we like to hear. Well, thank you for joining us during practice. We'll leave you to get cracking, to get yourself familiar with the track. Not that you probably need that. You've probably been on it all week long. But good luck for the race ahead. And if you're in the podium places, as we saw in the last championship, we may well speak to you at the end of the race.
Yeah, thanks guys. Have a good one.
Enjoy.
Good luck. Great race.
So that was Bob Hump 3 from Team Double Hump this evening. The Humphreys, of course, normally towards the top end of the Noob Gamers races on a Thursday night. Jamie, for me, you know, he's going to be in the top 5. That I'm putting that out there now.
Yeah, I was a little surprised actually. I mean, we've not seen him race this class before, but he sounded a lot more downbeat than he perhaps normally does. So it'd be interesting to see if that's just him playing maybe some mind games, or if he actually genuinely thinks he's not going to be up there, because he usually is.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really look past him much, I don't think. You know, as the fog is now well and truly upon us on Jimmy's camera there. The cameraman's having a great old time with the fog. But yeah, I can't see past him getting top 5. You know, I think he's quick enough to do that. But, you know, of course, we shall see. You know, lots of action ahead of us. So while we're just finishing off this practicing now, of course, we need to bring in the race sponsor, race organiser, Jimmy H Official, just to get his views on what he can expect from the tournament ahead and, of course, the race ahead of us this evening. So, Jimmy H, are you with us?
Good evening.
Good evening. So, Jimmy H, the race is underway. Season 2 is upon us. We're just in practice now. Silverstone ahead of us. How excited are you for Season 2?
Season 2 is going to be awesome, man. I've really been looking forward to Season 2. Touring cars, slippery slidey on the back, good bit of pull on the front, and I think everybody's in a Megane, so really it's kind of Season 2 Megane Championship, if you like.
And we can see the fog playing havoc with our cameramen this evening, but of course it will also play havoc with our races. How much of that sort of weather condition is going to add to the dynamic here this evening?
I think that it's gonna add quite a lot, to be honest. It's a lot harder than I anticipated in the fog, especially as we get down now to, you know, halfway through the race, and here we are with kind of pea soup really. The drivers really need to know the track well, because you can't see that far ahead of you, and I don't know what cam you're on at the moment, but there's really not much in front of you, so you've just got to know the track well, know the braking points. And the thing with touring cars is it's a bit bumpy. You're trying to squeeze through gaps, you're trying to cut corners where you can legally, and with that comes a lot of people taking out some of these brake markers you'll see down the side of the road, the 100, the 50. So you lose a brake marker in the fog, and you're really struggling to know when to brake for the corners. So knowledge of the track is key here.
Yeah, I mean, we were on trackside cam, but it seems in the fog that camera is pretty much a write-off, because it's just a thick fog. So I think when it's foggy, we're going to have to get up close and personal with the cars to be able to see anything.
Yeah, on board with the drivers, and I can't guarantee you'll see much more, to be honest. It's hard. It's going to be
a little better.
Of course, we saw you know, flirting with some of the top places in the last season, and of course, you know, you've been putting in the hard yards in practice. What are your expectations for tonight and the championship ahead?
So we've got again a lot of fast races, same races we had in season 1, who are likely to be leading the board. What is nice is that it's only default setups tonight, which means nobody can use any custom setups. It's default. Everybody's in exactly the same car. There's absolutely no modifications to the car whatsoever, so it's a completely level playing field. So all of this comes down to is A, how well you can drive, and B, how well you know the track. So it's nice that it's nice and level. I'm hoping to at least score in the points tonight, so I'm looking for personally a top 10 finish. If I finish 7th, I'll be really happy.
Good stuff. Well, thank you for joining us in the commentary box. We'll let you continue off the last moments of practice before qualifying starts, but hopefully, you know, once again, well organised, lots of racers taking part tonight, and I'm sure we're going to have some really exciting racing ahead of us.
Thanks a lot. Enjoy Pea Soup Race 1.
Thank you very much. So that was
Good luck, Jimmy.
That was, of course, Jimmy H, race organiser this evening, part of the Noob Gamers team. So, you know, we always have a soft spot for the Noob Gamers team. We want them to do well, you know, repping the channel, repping the brand. So Jimmy with high hopes of a top place finish. I can see, Jamie, we're on board with Callie. There's lots of shout outs going on board for Callie in the chat at the moment. So we'll jump on board with him at the moment, although it is just a white screen from the trackside cams. So we'll jump in the back of Callie at the moment. And Callie, Jamie, obviously new racer to a Thursday. You know, he's flirted with us a little bit, but, you know, strong on a Sunday. What do we think we expect from the new racers this evening? Do you think they're just going to, you know, be towards the top end of the grid, or are we going to see the traditional Noob Gamers races shine through?
Well, actually, I was going to point out interesting we had Bob on earlier, didn't we? Playing down his chances. There he is, second in the standings, 0.1 of us second off. So it's not doing too bad. But the new races, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a lot of them are from the other championship on the channel, which is pretty good level. So I'd expect most of them to be coming in and get stuck straight into the pack.
Yeah, I mean, we're on board with Cali now. Cali at the moment in 16th place, but as you said, Jamie, we've got some drivers from the Sunday stream. Bibby currently leading the way with Bob in second. We got Rob 3 in third, who now Rob 3, we know he's got the ability in the locker, but he's just got to keep it on the track, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, he's earned the nickname in the community of Heads Gone. So let's see if he can keep it on tonight.
Indeed, yeah. VXR Thrasher from the Sunday stream in fourth, Mr. Salt in fifth, and Trevor Hump in sixth. We got Matster, a new racer, in seventh. Mad Knive in eighth. Bugglenuts again, a relatively new racer, did join us for the last one, and Boban down in 10th. So, I mean, a decent top 10. Lots of names you recognise from the standard Thursday races, but also some new races in there as well. Odyssey in 11th, just outside, with Sin, Raz and Snell, Freddy in Vertigo, Roy Klops and Cali giving us the top 16 at the moment. So, we've got some old familiar faces, some new races chucked in there, and I, for one, are really excited for what we should see ahead.
I'm just going to give a shout out to Odyssey, actually, because he's obviously relatively new, like me and you, to these sorts of games. But he's putting a good solid time there. He's only 1.5 seconds off the top time in 11th, and of course he had his first child only several days ago. So I mean, I have no idea how he's managed to get permission to come and race with a 4-day-old baby. But that's commitment right there.
Yeah, real good commit from Odyssey. If we can get a shout out in the chat for
Big
Odyssey this evening, give him a shout out. Just had first-born son into the family, but still here with us, committing to racing on a Thursday night in the Noob Gamers Championships. Fair play to Odyssey this evening, and of course congratulations to him and the family. So we've just got under 30 seconds left now as we jump on board with Guitario, who seems to be having a few issues there. So practice nearly finished for this evening, and then we'll hit straight into the competitive action and qualifying, where really, with 27 cars I think we've got this evening, Jamie,
26 I think.
26 qualifying is going to be ever so important.
Well, absolutely, and especially with this fog coming down, you're going to want to get some good track position, because who knows what's going to happen when that all kicks off.
Exactly right. So there we go, confirmation that practice is now over. Just a few cars making their way around the last few corners of the track, and we should hit into qualifying. So let's head back to the studio for the time being until that starts. So we're back in the Noob Gamer studio. Practice has finished, and Bibby leads the way in practice at the moment, with Bob Hump in second, Rob 3 in third. So some old familiar faces up towards the top ranks, but also Bibby, a new racer on a Thursday, up there as well. And a little birdie tells us on the chat he should be up there this evening. He's put in some really solid times during practice, and now he's got the opportunity to put his foot down in qualifying and get himself ahead. So Jamie, the first lap is nearly upon us, after this qualifying session. In your eyes, are we going to see all the racers finish this race this evening?
I absolutely hope so. There's a good chance, isn't there, given how sturdy these cars are. So hopefully so. We just actually got Bibby jumping into the chat with us, so well done, Bibby. That was a great lap. Best of luck for qualifying.
Indeed, and a good evening to Centimid, previously known as Schoolbus, who says, evening, or how we all doing? And of course, Schoolbus/Centimid, I'm all good, my friend. How are you, Jamie? Are you good as well?
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited. I just can't wait.
Just can't wait indeed. So thank you for joining us. If you've joined us live on Twitch this evening, wherever you're watching it, whether you're at home, whether you're in bed, whether you're on your sofa, however you're digesting this content this evening, we really appreciate you jumping on board with us this evening. And now I believe, Jamie, that qualifying is underway. So let's head back down to the track and we can bring you the early moments of qualifying live. So here we go, live qualifying is underway. We're starting our qualifying session on board with Sin, 25 minutes ahead of us with no weather conditions to contend with during qualifying. So we are clear. Lots of time for the racers to get some decent track times down, and it really should give us a feel for who's going to be towards the top of the pack for the race ahead. So we're on board with Sin, but of course the first few laps will be warming up their tyres, get into grips again with the track in these clear conditions, having just battled with it with fog. So it is going to take a good few minutes for us to start seeing some times put down, but it looks like pretty much all the racers are out with the exception of Lang Lang, who's still in the pits, and we might have one or two others in there, but everyone getting out nice and early, Jamie, to try and give themselves that little bit of an advantage.
Yeah, although interestingly, Bibby, we could probably say the favourite for this session now, still in the pits, which is biding his time, maybe trying to find a good little gap on the track to get him some space, because obviously with 26 cars, it's going to be tough to find the space to put in that perfect lap without getting distracted by all the other drivers around you.
Exactly right, yeah, you certainly don't want to be caught in the pack without space in and around you as someone flies off behind Bob Humphrey there. Yeah, I mean, he might just be sat there thinking, there's no rush, I've got 25 minutes, getting himself settled in for the race ahead, which could, of course, play dividends. You only need to put one decent lap down tonight, with lap times just over the minute mark, you're looking around 1:08 to 1:12, around that sort of arena. You can get a lot of laps done in 23 minutes now. He just needs one decent lap, and he might jump straight to the head of the pack.
It'll be interesting, actually. I'm looking forward to seeing whether anyone can manage to break that magical 107 barrier. They were so close in practice, so there's a good chance a couple of them maybe can do it.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, we've got some really strong racers, as we've spoken about already this evening, joining us here. So just as these guys warm up their tyres for the race ahead, no time's hitting us just away. Let's have another look at the cars that the racers will be using this evening as we take you through our car overview. So here we go, another look at the cars the racers will be using this evening. It is, of course, the Renault Meganes. Everyone's opted for the Renault Megane this evening with a top speed of 166 mile an hour. They are, of course, a front-wheel driving car, and, at nearly £3,000, got some decent weight about them to have some bumps and scrapes. So here we go, a little look in the car in the garage at the moment. Nice little spoiler at the back, a bit more sturdy than the cars we saw on the Sunday. But let's have a look at the car out on a track live as we bring you that now. So there we go. That was, of course, a look around the cars that the drivers will be using this evening. And now, Jamie, we have, of course, some times which have been put down. And it's an early lead for Team Double Hump as Bob and Trevor get themselves straight into the top two places with Mr. Salt in third, VXR Thrasher in fourth, and Sin in fifth. So some old familiar faces up there, Jamie, early doors. Do we think they can hold those places for very long?
Well, it certainly looks like it. I mean, Bob's done 3 laps now. I've been watching 108.3, 108.2, now a 108.1. You know what's coming next. It's got to be a 107.9, surely, come on. But interestingly, Bibby's still in the pits. I don't know if this is strategy or maybe perhaps he's got an issue.
Yeah, hopefully he's not got an issue. We're hoping, we're only 5 minutes into qualifying, so plenty of time left. He might just be, getting himself set for the race ahead, because it would be good seeing him push the head of the pack as he did so well in the practice sessions. As we're on board with Trevor Hump, who's currently in second place at the moment, not very far off Bob in first. But the double humps, of course, placing first and second in the entire championship that we had from season 1. So those two, of course, must be early favourites for the championship, purely based on their results from last time out. But with the new races that we should have, competing throughout this championship ahead of us, I'm sure they've got some tough competition on their hands at the moment. So, as you can see there, Jamie, lots of cars out on the track together. Of course, just fighting for some valuable space out on the track to put a decent time down.
Yeah, it does seem that. Apparently someone's disqualified from qualifying. I wonder if that's Bibby. He's got a little red thing next to his name now.
Might have some sort of penalty, but Jimmy has come on the chat and said he's been disqualified from qualifying.
Jimmy has. Oh, he means himself.
Yeah.
Oh. What's going on?
Incredible scenes from Jimmy. So yeah, it might just be worth seeing if Bibby has any penalties. I'm not sure if we can bring that up by looking at the standings.
Yeah.
Let's have a look and see what he's got against him if he has got. So he's just got a one grid place penalty.
I mean, at the moment he's starting last, so it's not an issue.
No, not an issue as he's still sat at the pits at the moment. So obviously a misdemeanour has obviously gone on there and has caused him a small penalty. But just under 20 minutes to go now. We're on board with Bibby, who's now out on track, and we should see hopefully putting some good times down, but he is of course needing to get those tyres nice and warm early doors, although he seems to be struggling to get around this corner at the moment. So we're not quite sure what's going on Bibby as he's joined straight back in the pits again. Wheels McGee is calling for a heroic performance from Jimmy H. Of course, disqualified from qualifying. Hopefully he can let us know why. But yeah, he's going to start, of course, right at the back of the grid, which certainly gives him a tall order this evening. But yeah, Bob currently still well ahead of the pack. He's a whole second ahead of 5th place at the moment, which is some incredible racing. So while the cars continue to go around, we've got just over 17 minutes left of qualifying this evening. Let's get another little message, a little video from this evening's sponsors. It is, of course, Wolfies.co.uk giving us their support this evening. We really appreciate it. So the least we can do is give them a little bit of a shout out on the Twitch stream this evening. So there we go, a little message there from our sponsors, Wolfies.co.uk, who are pumping all their support onto the stream this evening, and we very much appreciate it. So we're on board with Crichton Alpha at the moment, who's in 11th place, has done well to start raising himself up the standings, but it is still Bob in first place with Trevor Hump in second, Mr. Salt in third. So the top three, we've seen no changes so far from those guys, racing really well, just hundredths of a second splitting those guys. So remember, the top 10 this evening will receive points at the end of the race. So the top 10 is the place where you really want to be. So the full first 10 places of the areas of the track that we're going to keep an eye on during this qualifying to see who comes in those places. And so far, Jamie, those top three doing really well, got a nice little lead on the places below them. It's going to take a lot for them to be shifted, isn't it? Yeah,
they seem to be the only three that are able to get into the 108s, and perhaps Bibby, just as I speak, Bibby does go into the 108s. Interestingly, we seem to not have a 4th place for some reason. Not entirely sure why that is, but anyway, I'm sure he'll sort itself out.
But yeah, Bibby now in 5th place. But remember, he does of course have 1 grid penalty. So wherever he's going to finish in this qualifying, so even if he smashes the pack and gets himself in 1st place, he will of course only start the race in 2nd place. But plenty of time left, so just under the 15-minute mark now. But Bibby out on track, trying to get as close as he can to Bob's time. As Jamie said earlier, the magic 107 is what we're looking for. They came very, very close in practice. We've seen them during the week hitting this track hard. Who's going to be the first person to get under that? Who knows? We'll have 15 minutes, of course, to find out. So Bibby racing hard around these corners. Hopefully, I was going to say hopefully cars start letting him through, but it looks like he's not getting that luxury this evening as everyone fights for places, Jamie. And of course, that's half the battle in qualifying. If someone doesn't know that, you're trying to put down this hot laps, put down a fast time as Bibby jumps back in the pits, there's really not a lot you can do, is there?
Well, the thing is that's just the way it goes, and I mean it is a skill finding that space in qualifying. I think that's what Bibby's trying to do, get that perfect lap together. He's got himself a banker in now that's fairly up there, but everyone's trying to do a fast lap, and so unfortunately, unlike in Formula One, they don't have race teams of race engineers that can tell them if the car in front's on a hot lap or not. You have to assume everyone's trying their best to do a fast lap, so you can't expect them to move out the way.
Exactly right, yeah. It would certainly be very harsh for you to expect cars to move out the way in front of you. As we have a shout out on the channel for the team Double Hump, we've got a shout out for Salty, we've got a shout out for Bibby, a shout out for Callie, and a shout out from Odyssey from 024SCP. Big thanks to him for giving his boys a shout out. But here we go, yeah, we're 13 minutes away now, Jamie. The top 3 are still as they are. Bibby in 5th place. We're not quite sure what's happened to 4th place as Callie is now.
I think you must be in 4th place, yeah. Should we have a look on the timings? Yes, for some reason it's disappeared, so perhaps that was where Jimmy was before. That's where the game thinks Jimmy would have finished.
Oh, I mean, so that's really nice of them to think he's going to finish there, but of course I don't think he's quite going to make that through. His VXR Thrasher looks like he's also got a disqualification from qualifying as well. We've just seen on the chat there. But yeah, here we go. We just have a look down the bottom. So towards the back of the pack at the moment, we've got PC Turva, we've got Guitario, we've got Sieski, we've got Callie, we've got Took. So a few regular names on the channel at the moment. But yeah, we're told that Thrasher is disqualified. That's why there's no 4th. So it's VXR Thrasher, which has caused 4th place. But you'd like to think a game like Project Cars 2 can sort itself out and get that sorted. But
counting from 1 to 25 is not the hardest thing a game's ever had to do. But there we go.
As we've said many times on this stream, you don't want to work live with children, with animals, or of course Project Cars 2. That's the mantra of the noob gamers. So we're on board with PC Turva. He's quite a distance behind the pack at the moment in 25th. A new racer to the Thursday stream. We're not quite sure what he's got in his locker yet. No. Only put a 122 down, but of course at the moment, during qualifying, a 122 is all good, but he could have put faster times down, and they might just not have registered, for going off the track and other things like that. So when it comes to race day, he might, of course, be a lot faster.
It's hard to judge people in this because, like we said before, if you could have your fast lap ruined by just someone accidentally gets in your way on the last corner or something. So sometimes it's hard to get that perfect lap in qualifying. So we'll have to keep an eye on him in the race.
Exactly, yeah. He might be a massive dark horse. Who knows? As we're on board with Took, of course, a loyal racer to the Noob Gamers, always joins us on a Thursday. Unfortunately, yet we've not seen him place towards the higher ends of the race so far, but always got high hopes for Took that one day soon he's going to pull it out the bag and surprise us all. And hopefully, that'll be tonight. Who knows? So let's have another look down the top 10. So we've got Bob still in first place. We've got Trevor in second. It's Mr. Salt in third. Bibby in fourth. We got Rob 3 in fifth. I'm going to confuse myself reading these out. Sin in sixth. We got Boban, who's pushed himself up to seventh. Matster, Rob 3 with his screen absolutely decimated. Matster up in 8th. We've got Mad Knife in the top 10 in 9th and Bugglenuts in 10th. So, really strong races in that top 10. And I, for one, am really looking to the first few corners to see how this pans out, because we could see all sorts of carnage. So just over 10 minutes to go. If you've joined us live on Twitch and you're in the chat and there's anyone you want us to jump on board with, please drop their name in the chat. We will get our camera crew, which is of course Jamie this evening, to jump on board with them and give you a little look of how they're faring around the track this evening. So if you're here to see anyone in particular, drop their name in the chat and we'll jump on board with them and see how they're getting on. But plenty of time left for this top 10 to change. So are we going to see any late pushes from the rest of the pack? Who knows? There is, of course, only one way to find out, and that's to stay live with us here on Twitch, on the Noob Gamers live channel, to keep up board with the action. If you are enjoying the stream this evening and you've not dropped us a follow on the channel already, please feel free to do that. All and every support is appreciated. But even if you just want to sit back, kick back, relax, not get involved in the chat, any support you can provide us on social media, such as sharing the stream, letting your friends know about what you're racing this evening, anything like that is, of course, very much appreciated. We do our best to bring you all the action here in the best format possible. And of course, your support is appreciated every single time that you're with us. And it's a good evening from Johnny OneNote on the chat, who just says evening all. Thank you for joining us, Johnny, and hope you enjoy what we've got ahead of us. So 9 minutes left, Jamie, not long to go. Opportunity to get, maybe 7-8 worths of decent laps times left. Do you think we're going to see much change for the top 10?
I'm not sure. I feel like they're all. We saw Bob there just warming his tyres, just trying to find a gap. They're all looking. I think they've all, the top 4 or 5 have got some pretty solid times in there. So they're all just now looking for that perfect lap, which is, as we've said, with this many cars, it's hard to find. So I'd say that those actually we've got one extra in the 108s now. Matt's just joined us in the 108s. Actually, just Pippin Bibby.
Done well there, done really well, really well to join us in the 108s. Well, as he goes a little bit wide on that corner now, so he's done really well to get himself into 4th place. Yeah, he's done the job, got himself sorted, so well done. I've just seen a question popping up on the Steam chat, actually, people asking whether they can see find this information anywhere else. We are, of course, on Facebook at facebook.com/noobgamerslive. We're on Twitter at twitter.com/noobgamerslive. And hopefully within the next 7 days, although, of course, the pressure is on myself to get this sorted, our brand new website will be live. That is noobgamers.com, noobgamers with a Z.com. There is a holding screen there at the moment, but please get it bookmarked. We will have all the race events coming up. We'll have race results from the Thursday and the Sunday nights as well as all the latest news of what we're up to at Noob Gamers. So please head over to noobgamers.com, get it set up on your bookmarks, and hopefully in the next 7 days that'll be live, and we'll promote it everywhere we can, and you can keep up to date with all the information that you guys are looking for on every single race that has been already, and of course the races that we have ahead of us. So 7 minutes now remaining. The top 3 has been fairly static for the entire qualifying session. We've got Bob Hump in first, we've got Trevor in second, we've got Mr. Salt in third, but Maxter's joined the fun in 4th at the moment, with Bibby down in 5th. We've got Rob 3 up there as well, with Sin in Vertigo and Boban all up there, and down in 11th place we have I can't remember the name in 11th place, actually. Can you jump on board with 11th quickly? Rolfie, there we go. Rolfie, to be fair to him, he's not been near the top 10 this evening. I haven't seen his name pop up on my screen that often, but he's done really, really well there to get up into 10th place. So fair play to Rolfie, of course.
Great time.
A long time chatter on the stream, and he's doing really, really well there with a 109. So really good from him.
Interestingly, whilst the top 5 are obviously in the 108s, seem a bit of a class apart, if you look from 7th really all the way down to 17th, there's only half a second between those 10 drivers.
I mean, that is pretty crazy. I mean, even if you go from 7th, even down to 23rd. I mean, I know Paul Turver hasn't managed to put a time down yet, still with a 1:22, but down in 23rd place, we've got a 1:12. And of course, when race day hits and all the cars are together, those few seconds, you might be putting down 108s, 109s during qualifying, but when it's racing, it's often quite difficult to replicate that. So we could see some really close packs throughout the entirety of the race, which is, of course, 30 minutes long. So loads of racing action for this evening as not Benjamin gets a shunt. And I, for one, think that one of the Humphreys did that on purpose, but that's just me.
That was rude, wasn't it? Very rude.
A little bit of rudeness there. So just over 5 minutes left now. Not long left for the racers to get their final few laps down as Trevor Hump decides to pull over and let a few other racers through, which is of course very kind of him. But we're on board with Mr. Salk. So Mr. Salk down in third. I get the feeling like he's letting people through as well, as we saw some cars go past in there. He must be pretty satisfied with his 108 at the moment in third place. So doing really, really well there. But with just over 5 minutes left, of course, if you're joining us live on Twitch and you want to put in the chat who you want to see for the last few minutes of qualifying, please drop their name in the channel. And we'll do our best to bring you their race action live to your screen. So if you're here to see anyone in particular, please let us know who that is, and we'll bring you their race on the screen now. But yeah, Jamie, the top three doing really, really well. Bibby has managed to jump himself back up to fourth place now. But, you know, that top three doesn't look like it's going to be broken anytime soon still.
I mean, I'm going to put something out there now. Now, this might be a bit controversial. I think Bob came on it. I think he was hustling us. I think he's got a book going somewhere. There's some bets being placed. He's trying to get his odds better so he can make a bit more cash. He's done us. He's absolutely hustled us.
I mean, if he's done that and he has got bets on, where's our piece of the action? He's not offered anything to us, has he?
Yeah. I think we get a 10% of all profits. I'm not sure.
If not, we should have put that in the contract. So maybe we need to get that sorted. But yeah, he's done very, very well. He's come on, he's downplayed it. Oh, I'm not really sure what to expect. And he smashed in with a 108.180. That's quite difficult to say quite quickly. But yeah, absolutely leading the way by a couple of hundredths a second. He's done really, really well there. But we are seeing a few cars heading to the pits. Maybe they're making some last minute changes to the car just to eke out those last few seconds to try and really push their way up to the top of the pack. But yes, Jamie, as you said earlier, you know, down in 17th place, we're only talking 109, so not much splitting the entire field this evening. We're looking at a second and a half all the way from 1st to 17th, so yeah, it just shows the quality of the races we've got on our hands this evening.
Absolutely it does, yeah. I think that's another reason we're in for an absolute cracker.
I mean, those first corners are going to be really, really exciting. I mean, I literally cannot wait at all. So while we've got about 3 minutes left of qualifying, let's give you one last reminder of what the racers are going to be putting up with by taking you on a full lap around the track, and then we should be able to catch the last few minutes of qualifying. So let's have a look with our track overview right now. So here we go. This is, of course, the track guide this evening. We're at Silverstone International. Just 10 turns for our racers to contend with this evening and just over the 2 mile mark. You can see there's a massively long straight down the back end with lots of little corners leading up to and after it. But certainly lots of places for overtaking for our racers this evening as we take you round an entire track here this evening, just so you can see exactly what our racers are going to be contending with right now. So here we go. This is what our racers will see from the start line as they're off down this little straight here into the first right-hand bend with the grandstand either side of them looking on at all our races this evening. So it's a nice steady right-hand bend to open up with before another gentle left-hand bend. But this is next where the fun starts. It's a tight corner coming round to the right-hand side that our racers will have to be really careful of, but lots of run off either side should any mistakes be made here. Again, it's another opportunity to get your foot down around the next few light corners before we again hit another really tight right-hand bend with plenty of runoff. But now the racers get to put their foot down this last straight now. A really big, long straight for our racers to really go at it neck and neck with their competitors and really get up to speed with the track and warm those tyres nicely. Now we come into the last few bends, so it's a gentle right-hand corner just to start with, but this is probably my favourite corner of this track coming up now. So slightly on the left, but now we have this naughty little left to right chicane, which I think is going to cause all sorts of problems for our racers. So you've really got to go hard into the brakes to that left and then into the right. And it's a nice, gentle one to finish off onto the right as we go over the finish line. But that chicane for me is going to be the one where we're going to see all sorts of problems. But let's head back to qualifying now. So a minute left of qualifying. Jamie, can you talk us through the top 10 races?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a little look at each of them. They're all on track apart from 2 of them. So First place we got Bob. Oh my days alive! Well, we did have Bob up. I think he's just given someone a lovely big shove there. Luckily for him, he's already put the lap in.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the top three got their laps in really early, right at the start, and they've not really been able to improve on them. So obviously top quality laps. Teammate and father Trevor, my soft spot for the race, as I mentioned in the last one. I feel like he deserves a win. He's always there. He's always supporting Bob.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd like to see him get the victory today. So fingers crossed. Mr. Salt in third, very close. Only 0.3 of a second between the first three. Bibby in fourth. We now have a fourth, interestingly. Mattster, the new racer, in fifth. Rob 3 in seventh with a good time. Sin in eighth. Invertigo in ninth, and then Boban finishing up the top 10. And I think we are done. Race
That's
complete.
it. Yeah, race complete is on our screens. All the cars are heading to the pits. So just a few last members of our pack this evening still out on track, just trying to get that last lap time in to see if they can affect things. But it's going to take something special for them to get up the pack now with just over 50 seconds remaining of qualifying. And then, of course, it's the moment we've all been waiting for. And it is, of course, the big race. So that is upon us very, very shortly. The top two at the moment, the double hump's doing really, really well with Mr. Salt in third place. Bibby in fourth, though. He's had some love on the chat this evening with people thinking he's got a real opportunity to affect the top three places this evening. So we could see lots from him when race day comes. Just half a second off top spot at the moment. But of course, when racing comes, those times are almost meaningless when you've got cars left, right, and centre. So we should be getting confirmation of the final places on our screens very, very shortly. We'll bring you the top 10 very, very quickly. And then it's an opportunity for the racers to get themselves readied up for the race ahead. So
who's your money on then? Who's your money on?
My money this evening, I'm going to throw one out there, and I'm going to chuck out Mr. Salt this evening.
It's a great show.
I'm going to chuck out Mr. Salt as my.
Let's get some predictions in the chat. Let's see. Who do we think is going to take this one?
So here we go. We've got confirmation. So it's Bob Hump first, Trevor Hump second, Mr. Salt in third, it's Bibby fourth, Mattster in fifth, it's VXR Thrasher in sixth. As we head over to the big race. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The big race is upon us, and it's hashtag Team Bibby in the chat. A lot of love for Bibby this evening coming from the Twitch channel. But of course, let's just take you through that top 10 again. We didn't quite get a chance to finish it before the race started. So it's Bob in first, Trevor Hump in second, it's Mr. Salt in third, it's Mattster in fourth. In fifth place we have Bibby, sixth is VR Thrasher, seventh is Rob 3, Sin in eighth, Invertigo ninth, and it is Boban in 10th. So that is your top 10 this evening. We can have a look down the rest of the pack. We got Rolfie in 11th, we got Madno 12th, Bugonuts 13th, Razensnell Freddy in 14th, Odyssey 15th, Roy Klopp 16th. We've got some really good races on our hands with Crichton down in 17th. We got Langalang down in 18th, Roughneck 1 in 19th. We got Cali 20th, Tukin 21st, Not Benjamin 22nd, Siaski in 23rd, PC Turva managed to put in some okay times in 24th, and we got Guitario in 25th, and of course Jimmy, who was disqualified, in 26th. So 26 races, Jamie, ahead of us for this championship opener this evening. It's gonna be crazy.
What an absolute treat we've got in store. What an absolute treat. There's a lot of shouts for Bibby, isn't there? He's going to be one to watch. Also, another interesting one will be how far through the pack can Jimmy get from the back of the grid?
Yeah, back of the grid in 26th place at the moment is Jimmy. If he can get a top 10 out of that, he's done very, very well indeed. Fair play to him. So
he'll be looking for some crashes ahead.
Yeah, definitely. So there we go. We should get synchronizing on the screen now, which lets us know that all the races are ready. We're on board with Bob Hump round the first few corners, and we are go, go, go with race 1 of the Noob Gamers Championships, and we are off. Here we go. Are we going to see any early crashes? Remember, if you want to see a replay of any of the action this evening, you just need to put an exclamation mark and the word replay, and that will trigger some replays this evening. So we're on board with Mr. Salt now. Let's see how these first few corners go as the pack starts to build behind Bob Hump, who's done really, really well to get away with Trevor just in second. And I can see in the background we had some cars all over the place, and there is someone on their back. We're not sure who that is, but there is someone on their back towards the back as we go into these first few corners now where brakes needing to be applied. side. So we've got Rasmusnell Freddie, who's down in 14th at the moment. But Bob's done really, really well to get himself ahead. But Rasmusnell's gone a little bit wide now. So we're on board with Mr. Salt, who's making a move on Trevor. So Mr. Salt's done really well there out of that corner to get well ahead of Trevor, who must be on some sort of slowdown because he's letting cars go left, right and centre. But VXR Thrasher up into third, who has a penalty early doors, with Matster in fourth. But it is Bob who got away the cleanest as Trevor now pushes back to get some times back, and it is into this chicane now, as we can see cars all over the place trying to fight out for those all important places. So we're down in 6th at the moment with Trevor. Bibby's just in behind him in 6th, and it looks like Rob's making an early pit to go and get something sorted on his car as well. So there's the pack to start with. We've got Bob making a leap into first, Mr. Salt doing well in second, and it is VXR Thrasher currently in third place. So the top three is like that. Can we get, though, Jamie, confirmation of what the penalty is for VXR Thrasher quickly?
Yeah,
so he's just a 1 second penalty, nothing too major to worry about at all. The same for Vertigo. So yeah, no, not to worry. I just wanted to see if it was anything else important. So let's get the racing back on your screens. So here we go, as we saw someone spin off in the background. But Bibby doing really well in 6th place at the moment, just biding his time. You know, we know he's got the race pace, as we've seen some of his times he's put down early doors. So he's fighting it out at the moment with Trevor Hump.
He did drop back though. Remember, he started 4th or 5th, I think, so he has lost a few places. I'm not sure what happened to Trevor there. He seemed to lose engine power on the straight there, and then all of a sudden it came back.
Yeah, it might have just been a slowdown. It might have been a slowdown imposed by the race director. We're not entirely sure.
Could have been.
But Bibby up into 5th now. He's just battled Trevor out. But the big news is, of course, Bob has gone into the pits. So Bob is in the pits. So which means Mr. Salt has taken first place with VXR Thrasher in second. So it's an early pit stop from Bob. I can only imagine he's got some sort of problem, Jamie.
Must be damaged, because otherwise, there's no need to pit really unless you have damage. So he'll be absolutely seething at the moment. Really argy-bargy battle with Trevor and Bibby here. There's been some serious shoving the whole way through the race between those two, and it just goes to show what sort of damage that these cars can put up with, I suppose.
Exactly right, and we're being told on the chat by Muddy Squid that for jump starting the lights, they both have drive-through, so that is really going to cost Bob down in 9th place. Who,
well, that's lost in the race, I think.
I mean, yeah, unless there's something major happens, he's going to, be really hard push. He's right down the pack at the moment in 17th, so he's got a long way to go. So my early shout of Mr. Salt is doing me proud at the moment, who's a couple of seconds ahead in first place, VXR Thrasher in second, and it is Trevor who's jumped up a few places into third. So Trevor's done really well to suddenly find some race pace and take over a few people, so we must have seen some sort of nudges going on there, but you can see how tight that pack is between those races at the moment. Second, third, fourth, they're all really, really close, and it's only going to take one mistake from one of the people in front and we could see all sorts of carnage going on. So we're on board with Bibby in 6th place at the moment. He's got a good few amount of cars ahead of him, and Jamie, surely he's just going to bide his time and see what happens.
Well, we've seen this exact scenario before, haven't we? You can sometimes get lucky. There's some serious pushing going on in front there. He himself was part of that, and I think it's cost him. He's dropped slightly back off, but obviously you can benefit. Mr. Salt with a nice 3-second lead there, and we've seen before how consistent he is. So I think, to be honest, even very early, it's going to be hard to dislodge him from there.
Yeah, I mean, there's 25 minutes to go, of course, so still plenty of time. Anything can happen, and as the race opens out towards the latter stages, back markers start to come into play potentially. But yeah, he's done really well to get himself ahead. So we're going to keep an eye on with this action now. Second, third, fourth, they're all really, really close to each other, and we're just going to see how this plays out, because these are for some really important places on the grid at the moment. So VXR Thrasher leading the way at the moment with Trevor in third. They do, of course, you can see almost the whole top 10 have some sort of penalty, so you can almost discount the penalties in their entirety. But yeah, we're on board with Sin at the moment in 5th. He's just in behind Matster in 4th, although it looks like he's going to make a move but doesn't quite have it there, or is he going to push again? Not enough pace to go around the outside, so we nearly saw a good manoeuvre there from Sin, and I think, Jamie, this battle's going to go on and on.
I mean, what a battle. We've got, what have we got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars really right up against each other on the straights. Yeah, just to answer the question in the chat, T-Mac, yeah, Bob has served his penalty, and he went down to 17th. He's already back up to 13th, so he's He's 16 seconds off the lead, so it's a long way, but we know he's got the speed. He's got to be confident. Perhaps he can get back up into the podium positions.
Yeah, only 3 places away, of course, of those the top 10 to get himself some points. As we're on board with Bibby trying to make a move on Sin, there's a little bit of a nudging going on. I think this is going to be par for the course this evening. He's done Sin down the outside there to get himself up into 5th place, so he's done well there to outmaneuver Sin for another position. So, but you can really see these cars are not leaving each other alone. You know, they are almost nose to tail going around all these corners. Really, really tight little pack. And I, for one, are excited to see how this plays out. You know, it's really good to see some close racing on the stream, as we nearly saw a spin. But, you know, you had a little go in these cars earlier, Jamie, and these cars are almost spin-proof in a way.
I mean, compared to the GT3s from the first championship, which were super sensitive, you know, I was trying to make it spin. I couldn't make it spin. They're so stable, just sticking to the track. You can obviously run wide and miss the braking point, but they really they stick to the track.
Which, of course, you know, we should see less mistakes, which means, again, it comes down to pure racing ability. As someone goes straight up into the back. Wow, 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 wow. I'm not sure who that was. It looks like it's Mazda has gone into the back of someone. We're going to get a replay on the screen now. I'm not sure who he catapulted up in the air there, but unbelievable, Jeff, you have to say. And he's cost someone a place. So we're going to have another look at that replay coming up now. But Mazda driving straight into the back of someone, and we're just trying to work out who has lost their places. So I'm just trying to work it out now, but I for one can't see who it was. But you know, we should get that coming on your screen very, very shortly. Just going to keep an eye on it now. Whoa, yeah, wow, 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 straight into the back. So someone's gone early on the brakes, and Mazda's gone straight into the back of them. So
this is the problem with them all running so close to each other. Why it's tense battle, because one little, you know, one person breaks slightly earlier for whatever reason, it's a chain reaction of just absolute chaos.
Yeah, I mean, as T-Max pointed out on the chat, I think, you know, we haven't really seen much movement in the people we were watching, so it could have been an early back marker just being in amongst the pack, because it's certainly not made any difference to the places. As Sin again tries to make another move on Bibby, and he has. So he's done really well there to take 4th place on the inside. Has he got the pace to open this out? As it looks like Trevor's going in the pits. So Trevor's going in the pits. So he's in the pits now. Mr. Salt gets the opportunity to open out his lead a little bit further. So yeah, we're on board with Sin, who's in 5th, but of course he's going to leapfrog Trevor, who's in the pit, so he's up into 4th. Bibby, of course, in 3rd. You know, a lot of love for him this evening. He's slowly making his way up the pack, and he's in 3rd. So, but apparently Trevor's been given a drive through as well, we're told. So that's the reason he's gone in the pit. So
I was wondering whether he might have been the one that was hit from behind and given the damage, or perhaps he's somehow got a penalty for being hit from behind. I'm not sure.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, who knows who that was at all? But yeah, VXR Thrasher. You know, we've not spoken about them very much this evening. Doing really well in 2nd place. He's got himself a little gap over 3rd because of the battles that we did see between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. You know, VXR's managed to get himself ahead of that pack and open out a little bit of a space. Excuse me. So he's got a couple of seconds on 3rd. So, you know, his race is going really, really well in 2nd place at the moment. So we're just over the 20-minute mark left. We're 10 minutes into this race. Cars still really, really close together. We've got penalties all over the place. And Jamie, you know, it's going to be really hard to call this top 10 at this stage in the race.
I mean, it's all changed. But what we can see already is Bob is up to 11th. He's putting in some solid times. I imagine he's going to have frustration on it. So he'll be absolutely raging through the pack. That's going to be a fascinating battle. Actually, interestingly, he's got Trevor right behind him, who also had that drive-through. So there's a good battle in Team Lamp here. That should be interesting on the chat.
Exactly right. There is, of course, the opportunity to work together. So you can, of course, slipstream these cars and try and get that extra bit of pace, slingshot each other past. They will, of course, be communicating as they are teammates this evening, working together in the same liveries as you can see. So a real good opportunity for those two to help. You know, they could push themselves forward together now and start leapfrogging up and down the pack together by using that slipstreaming together. So, you know, they've got a real opportunity now they're close together to start really attacking this top 10. Currently in 11th and 12th respectively. So we could see them start to make a move on the top 10. But we're on board with Matster, who we of course saw earlier went straight into the back of someone. We believe it might have been a back marker, sent them flying, but he managed to get away with it and is currently in 9th place, just in behind Rolfie. So the battle for the top 10 is well and truly on. It's only going to take one person to take out a few cars, and we could see some changes, but they're all driving really well at the moment, Jamie, and I can't see it moving at the moment.
Here's Bibby going for second. He's got some. Look at the damage he's got all over his car, but he's holding it together. He does seem particularly an aggressive driver. He's been very getting the elbows out and barging through, but it's been effective, and he's one of very few without a penalty, I think, at the moment, to be honest. So he's obviously doing something right.
Yeah,
great chance to get into second here.
Yeah, as we were talking about earlier, VXR Thrasher did have a couple of seconds on 3rd place at the moment, but Bibby, who we've spoken about a lot during this stream and on the Twitch chat, has clearly got the race pace here. He's doing really, really well and has caught up VXR Thrasher in second. So we could see a movement by Bibby coming up shortly. But I wonder, Jamie, whether we can just have another look at the penalties that are upon us this evening.
Yes, I think that's worth doing.
So we've got, it's a 4-second penalty for VXR Thrasher, 2 seconds for Bibby, 2 seconds for Sin, 2 seconds for Invertigo, Boban. We've got Trevor Hump has got a 15-second penalty down in 12th, so that's really going to hurt him. But really the one that we needed to know about was VXR Thrasher, so important to note that he's got a 4-second penalty, which is of course going to affect things as we bring you the action back now. So yeah, there we go. There's some confirmation of the penalty. So it's a 4-second one for VXR Thrasher, so he's going to have to make some headway to keep that second place position. But Bibby is hot on his tail and doing really, really well here, Jamie.
Yeah, it seems like this is a matter of time, to be honest with you. Thrasher perhaps is maybe slightly out of position relative to his pace. I'm not sure. He's a new driver to me, but he wasn't in the 108 club in qualifying. He's found himself up in second, doing amazingly. He actually, Mr. Soul, he's been absolutely untroubled by any of this carnage, but he's not pulling away perhaps as much as we expected. So these guys do have some serious pace behind them. Only 3.5 seconds.
And we see there one of the back markers causing all sorts of problems, taking out VXR Thrasher. Unbelievable driving from a back marker there. VXR is not going to be happy with that at all. Takes him out of the race as he goes to push him back, but in course of that takes himself out nearly. We are going to get a replay of that on our screens, but Jamie, an open door for Bibby to take up second place.
Unbelievable. I mean, I feel so sorry for... He did nothing wrong there. I mean, perhaps he tried to give a little back there, which perhaps wasn't the best idea, but clearly he was frustrated.
Yeah, so he finds himself in 3rd place now, and Bibby, as we're seeing this on our screens now, the back marker simply not moving out of the way and taking out VXR Thrasher, who was in second. So really bad manners there from that back marker. Not quite sure who it was, with cars all over the place. But we look down the pack. Odyssey's made his way through the pack and is up in 7th place, as we've got cars going off the track in front of them. So we've lost a few more as Oddie goes up into 5th. And it looks like it was Rolfie's dropped down a few places. And Mad Knife as well dropping down. Boban as well seems to have taken a little bump. And it has opened the door for Bob Hump, who's now up in 8th place. And from the look of this corner, he's going to attack this as well, so we could see him higher up the places by the time he gets to the next bend, Jamie. So, he could find himself in 6th place very, very shortly. 2
cars on one straight. He had the drag, the straight line speed. Great racing from Boban then, who was coming out to make his own overtake. Saw Bob on his right and thought better of it. That was fantastic. That could have been a big crash.
Exactly right. Rolfie in 7th place at the moment, just in behind Bob. They, of course, will be racing hard for this position, but I feel like Bob's going to slowly start pulling away from him now, because we know Bob's got overall pace, doing really, really well. But you mentioned earlier, Jamie, Mr. Soto, of course, not quite getting the times away he would want, but at this stage of the race, there are going to be back markers left, right and centre, which is going to cause some issues for all the races this evening.
There are, but he's been out front on his own for 13 laps, and he's only got a 4-second gap, and we can see Bibby there, last lap 109.3. He's burnt some solid times in now. He's got some clear air. He's got a chance here.
Exactly right. T-Max just asked on the chat, is there a mandatory pit? No, there is not a mandatory pit stop this evening, so no mandatory pits. So, no reason for them to go in the pits if they don't have to, as we start to see the fog coming in now, which of course is going to play havoc with the camera crew around. So we're going to see a lot of chase cam going on with the fog
we're gonna have to stick
well
to
and
chase
truly
cam.
in. So we're on board with Maxter, who's in 7th place, just in behind Rolfie in 6th. So decent battles all over the place, and it is I have to say, it's a big shout out for Odyssey in 4th place. We spoke about him earlier. You know, in the last few days, had his first member of the family join him, a new son to the Odyssey clan, and doing really well in 5th, although Bob up into 4th with an overtake there of Odyssey, doing really well. But good racing from Odyssey so far.
Yeah, fantastic. Whilst we were talking, Thrasher has made a pit stop, I imagine, for the damage that he had. So he's dropped back down to 13, which is really unlucky for him, because he had the pace. He was sticking there. He was in the 109s. He was driving fantastically.
Yeah, really, really poor from that back marker. I'm sure there'll be an inquiry into that after the proceedings here, because really with those two, 2nd and 3rd hot on your tail, you've got to be getting out of the way there. So really, really poor racing from one of our contenders here this evening. But the battles up and down the pack are not going away. So we're on board of 7th place, and just ahead, despite the fog, you can see all the cars ahead of them. Bob doing really well in 4th, Odyssey just in behind, with Rolfie just in behind him, and Maxter here in 7th place. So lots of racing on our hands with just over 13 minutes to go. It's not like races we've seen before on the stream where it's really, really open. We've got some fantastically close racing this evening, with plenty of time left, Jamie.
Yeah, Bob has now, courtesy of and helped by a few of those big crashes in the pack, he's now managed to very cleanly weave his way through all those incidents. He's up to 3rd. He's cleared the pack now. So he's back up with the fast guys. He's just got a nice clear 17-second gap now.
Whoa! A huge crash we see in front of us as Rolfie gets taken out. And once again, Jamie, I think I recognise the car that he crashed with as one of the back markers. I don't think that was one of the
pink livery. Yeah, I'm not sure who that is.
I think I'm going to stick my neck out and say it might be Roughneck 1. I'm not sure if we can jump on board with him. I believe he might have had a livery similar to that sort of colouring.
Just a battle for 4th here.
But battle for 4th on board, so it looks like Invertigo's just got the pace on Odyssey as we see a replay coming on your screen of that massive crash. Absolutely huge. Cars flipping all over the place. And Maxter taking full advantage. But Odyssey here with the inside coming back in. So really good battle for 4th and 5th between these two at the moment. But it looks like with the inside line, Invertigo is going to attack back into 4th. So these two are really, really going at it. And it's some fantastic racing from them both. So, but of course, with these two racing each other in 4th and 5th, it does give the opportunity for Bob to open out a bit of a pace, because these two, of course, aren't attacking for that 3rd place position. But Jamie, some fantastic racing shown by some of our racers here.
Yeah, this is a great battle, because three guys that aren't always right at the top. They find themselves in 4th, 5th, and 6th. They're all driving really, really solid race, really clean racing here. Boban just at the back of these two. But getting involved as well, just waiting to pick up the scraps. Really, really great driving there.
Really good stuff. So we're going to stay on board with this battle for the time being, because we have, of course, the big straight coming upon us, and it can anyone take advantage. So Maxter in 7th place. We've got Trevor Hump just in behind, but remember, Trevor Hump has got a massive penalty. But as T-Mac has pointed out on the chat, Bibby is closing in on 1st place. The difference between them now is less than 2 seconds. So as we see a big spin out in front, and Trevor Hump takes full advantage of Boban coming off the track. So he's lost some places there, and Odyssey is also taking himself out of the race and has gone all the way down to 12th position. So Odyssey there falling foul of a crash. We will try and get a replay of that on your screens coming up. But yes, Jamie, Bibby making gains on 1st place, doing really, really well, and we could see that battle coming to our screens very soon as that gets closer.
Mr. Soul may have just had some back markers or made a little mistake. Last lap in the 110, Bibby with a 109, and the lap before was in the 108, which is excellent pace for this time of the race. So we'll jump back on when he gets within a second, I think, because there's just so many battles in the pack. Just keep on board with.
So many indeed. So we've got Boban, and just ahead of him we've got Maxter. I believe now it's Mad Knife actually in 6th place, joining the fray.
Yes.
With Trevor just in 5th place, just ahead. So these racing for the top 10 positions are going down to the wire, and you've got to feel sorry for Odyssey, who's lost all his places, but I believe it looked like a mistake from him to cause that, as Boban goes down the inside of all of these cars now. As he managed to take all of them, he's got himself up into 7th. We've seen a little nudge there. Matster losing a bit of time in a little position and falls down to 8th place. So Boban made the move on him there in 7th. So some good driving there from Boban, and luckily these cars can take a little bit of a shunting to allow the drivers to have a little bit of touchy-feely around this track. Otherwise we could have seen people quit from the race already. But yeah, it's all kicking off here. We've got someone off the track ahead as well. So Razan Snell Freddy is also caught up the pack here. As we've got some and it's Rob, I believe it's Rob. Rob 3 down in 10th, struggling off the course there. But yeah, it's really, the top 10 is really hotting up as Razan Snell Freddy gets someone going into the side of him. Razan Snell currently in 8th place, but he's going to lose that now and drop down after that little shunt. So Razan Snell down into 9th with Rob 3 making a gain up in 8th. So we're going to be hard pushed, Jamie, to keep on board of all of this.
To be honest, there's too many battles. We need about 9 screens everyone at home needs, I think. This is absolutely unbelievable. What we said all through the practice, though, is coming true, isn't it? These cars are so durable. The amount of hits we've seen in these races are like nothing else, but they're all still going.
They are indeed. So VXR Thrasher's done really well to come back in now. He's just up into 10th place and is joining the pack that we were talking about earlier. So he's just behind Razan Snell Freddy at the moment. And we know he's got some race pace, so he's going to certainly attack. But we've jumped on board with Bibby. Bibby has managed to claw the time to Mr. Salt down to under a second. So this could be it, Jamie. We could see Bibby attack here.
Yeah, an absolutely fantastic avoidance last minute of that back marker there. Mr. Salt made the move and Bibby just didn't want to lose too much time on it, so made the jump on that corner there last minute. Just about got away with it. That was risky, but he's paid off because he's within half of a second.
Yeah, so Mr. Salt hasn't really had any competition this race so far. Was given a place almost from Bob 3, having to have a drive-through earlier. So this is a real test of his mettle now. 8 minutes left, and he's got someone putting the pressure on him for the first time in this race. Are we going to see him hold his nerve, or do we think he might crumble?
Well, he's got the reputation of being very consistent and very good under pressure. So I've never seen him buckle yet. Famous last words, but Bibby seems like he's really got the pace on him. Bob's settled in 3rd. He's doing similar lap times, but he's obviously such a chunk of time behind that it feels like 3rd is his. He'll probably take that considering what happened. And the race is between these two.
Exactly right. It's getting really, really close now as Bibby goes down the inside. Has he got the pace down this straight on Mr. Salt? He can, of course, use the slipstream to try and generate a little bit more. T-Max put his neck on the line and said his bet is on Bibby. But importantly, Jamie, we obviously can't show you it right now, but every single one of the top 16 bar Odyssey has got some sort of penalty, which is going to, I mean, that's going to cause some problems to the final standings, and I'm not willing to do the calculations live during the race. But Bibby's doing really well. So Mr. Salt keeping on the inside, but yeah, we're sticking on board with this race. It is really close. Is he going to slingshot down on the inside? No, he might make a move down the outside round this corner.
Got the run.
He has got the run. Is he going to just do a little bit of slipstream here to get through? But you can see him flashing the lights. He's got the little under braking just to keep him inside. He's going to go down the inside. No, not quite from Mr. Salt, but there's back marker in front of them now. This is the one, remember, who took out VXR Thrasher earlier. Is that going to happen again? Hopefully not. No. But Jamie, this race is hotting up.
This is a fantastic race. I do apologise if anyone's hit. Oh my, someone going the wrong way. I don't know what's happening there. That was absolutely bad. Oh dear me, I've never seen anything like that before. Yeah, I just want to apologise if anyone's here to see any of the... I realise there's so many battles, but this is for the lead of the race. I feel like we just have to stick on with this one at the moment.
No, you're absolutely right, as we're just getting a replay of the car coming the wrong way down the track, which I just had to simply get a replay going because that was just crazy. Yeah. So yeah, you can see them coming past the back marker there, and then out of nowhere a car just comes the wrong way down the road. And luckily doesn't take these two out, because that would have been absolutely catastrophic. But Bibby and Mr. Salt is going for it here. Has he got it now? He's definitely come out of the corner a little bit quicker, but I don't think he's quite going to get it. Mr. Salt pulls across, does really, really well. And this battle is going all the way down to the wire with just over 5 minutes left of this race, Jamie. I mean, this is going to go on and on and on, isn't it?
There's some fantastic defensive driving from Salty here. He's really putting his car in the right place. Interesting, on that pit straight, he's taking the inside line, he's defending that. On the lap before, he was squeezing him just into the wall, just a little bit. All these little tactics, but it's really making the difference.
Exactly right, and we've got another back marker coming into the fray here. I'm hoping we've seen some terrible decisions from the back markers so far. Let's hope they can get round this one with a clean race, and you can see the lights flashing ahead from Mr. Salt to try and warn, but I don't think the back marker's seen, and they're going to go into the corner here with a back marker, so this could be... No, they've slowed down just at the right side. Oh!
I don't think he saw that. I think that was lucky.
Yeah, I think he's got away with one there, nearly taking out Bibby's back end.
My heart's racing.
Yeah, this is neck and neck racing. You know, this is for the top place, remember, if you've just joined us live. 4 minutes left of the race, and these two are going at it. They are, you know, nose to tail all the way around these corners. And Bibby, Jamie, every single time he comes out of the corner seems to have the pace, but some great driving from Mr. Salt to keep him at bay.
It's very hard to go around the outside on this corner. It's too fast, too wide. Yeah, that last left-right coming into the pit straight, Bibby's really got the pace on him there, but he just can't quite. He was right. He couldn't have been closer then, to be honest. I think he's going to have to find somewhere else on the track to make the move. I think Salty's got that position covered there.
Exactly. Really good defensive driving from Mr. Salt so far. You know, as you said, Jamie, out of those corners, Bibby's got the pace, but Mr. Salt doing really well to fend off the advances. And apologies, as someone said on the chat, if you have got OCD, Odyssey needs to pull his finger out and get a penalty just so everyone's got a penalty on there. But we can only apologise for the catastrophic racing we've had this evening, which has led to so many penalties. But yeah, we're sticking on board with this race with just moments to go now of the race. You know, just over 3 minutes. Bibby has lost a little bit of time because of the little nudge earlier, but these are the corners where we know he can make some gains. So could we see it here, Jamie?
A little lock-up from Salty there. This could have given him an opportunity. A bad lock-up. This could be it. He's got the inside line here.
Here he goes. Oh, not quite. Some good, clean racing from them both, though, not to take each other out. But
really clean.
It is that corner that Bibby's really, you know, got the extra bit on Salty, hasn't he? Just a little bit of extra pace.
Rear right coming into the first left-hander there, and it really put him on the back foot. I can only assume that means his tyres are really struggling. Here we go.
Oh, little nudge from Bibby as Mr. Salt slowed down. But again, Mr. Salt holds on, and this is going all the way to the end. I really want to know what penalties these two have, but I really also don't want to lose the action here.
Let's have a quick look.
Both on 2 seconds. Oh, exciting. Let's get us back to the action quick. Nice. So they're both on a 2-second penalty. It doesn't, you know, no penalties are making any difference here this evening. It is just who is going to come first. Out of these, you know, no penalties are going to affect this race, which is the best news you could have given us here. So just over 2 minutes left, Jamie. Bibby's going to have another go here.
There's another lock-up. I've noticed Salty is sliding around a lot more than Bibby, so he's obviously not quite got the tyre. He's not managing the tyres quite as well as Bibby, which is a surprise considering he's been out front having a nice easy race on his own. But Bibby's obviously doing really well here. I feel like he needs to think of a different tactic. He's getting close, but he can't make the move on this corner. I think he needs to maybe back off a bit, get the tyres in the right temperature zone, and try and attack somewhere else.
Oh, we could see a back marker getting involved here. There was someone pulls out into the road, and both drivers make a really good manoeuvre. These back markers are seen in Jamie are causing all sorts of problems.
I think we're going to have to do some lessons on which way around the track is. That's twice now.
Exactly right. So we're sticking on board with these two, but with 1 minute 30 left, and you can just see ahead of these two through the fog, we do have some more back markers to come. So maybe with the sort of racing we've seen from the back markers this evening, could these back markers, you know, decide the race tonight? Who knows?
They could. I feel like he needs to make the move. He needs to be closer here and make them under the big braking zone and get the inside line. That feels like his best chance, because this is where Salty struggles to slow the car down for that left-hander, but he just can't seem to get close enough just before that. But worth saying that Bob and Trevor, the Humphrey... Oh, I'll just let you finish.
This back marker's just not getting out of the way. Mr. Salt has to go down the outside, and Bibby goes across on the inside, and it's the same back marker. We really need to find out who that is, because they're causing all sorts of problems this evening. But we're nearly on the last lap, and Mr. Salt has got a little bit of breathing space at the moment, but I do really worry about these back markers in front, and I just hope they get out of the way, because, you know, I don't know what's going to happen, but here we go, the closing stages of the race, and these two are going at it. Bibby's got to make his move soon, hasn't he, Jamie?
He does. Just whilst they're coming down the straight, it's worth saying the Humphrey team, Bob and Trevor, both with drives to penalties, back up to third and fourth. A fantastic driving in Vertigo. What a solid race in fifth as well. Great shout out for him.
Really good, but remember, Bob has got something like a 14-second penalty, so that's really going to cost him. Not Bob, sorry, Trevor. So that's going to cost him. But
yes, he does.
5 seconds to go of this race. This is the last lap. Yeah. Are we going to see any last movement in this race as Bibby's going to try and attack this? But it looks like Mr. Salt's going to hold on round this last bend, and it doesn't look like the back markers are going to come into play. And I think Mr. Salt is going to cross the line. And there it is. So Mr. Salt, of course, I don't like to big myself up, but of course, called by yours truly, I put my money on the boy Mr. Salt, and he's done me proud in first place. Some amazing racing from those two all the way, the closing stage of the race. Bibby attacking him left, right and centre, but Mr. Salt, Jamie, doing really well to hold him off for first place.
Absolutely fantastic driving, great defensive driving. One last battle here, just on the last few corners, sixth, between Boban and Thrasher.
So is he going to go down the outside? No, not quite what he needed there, Thrasher. He might try and slingshot on the inside into this corner. I think he's going to go for it. Don't think he's going to quite have the pace going across the line. No, not quite. So, there's finishes. But the thing I'm going to be most nervous about, Jamie, are all these penalties. Odyssey managed to pick one up as well. So it is penalties left, right and centre. We've got 41-second penalties, 15-second penalties, 46-second penalties down here. I mean, it's all over the place. So we're going to see, let's wait for the official confirmation before we try and digest all these penalties too much. But they could cause havoc to the final standings. Bibby actually did pick up an extra couple of seconds for those last few advances, which would have been a shame if he managed to get past to have lost that.
It would have, yeah.
But a fantastic race by those boys now. So let's wait for the official standings to come in. Who have we got left out on the track? Have we got anyone left, Jamie?
No, it's all done though. That's it.
There we go. It's all done. So the final standings are upon us now, and there's confirmation. It is Mr. Salt in first place, Bibby in second, Bob Hump in third, Boban in fourth, Razensnell Freddy in fifth, Trevor Hump down in sixth, VXR Thrasher in seventh, Odyssey done really well in eighth, Mad Knife in ninth. Unfortunately, because of the lobby this evening, we've lost who was in the top 10 in its entirety. But let's head back to the studio. But unbelievable. We need to try and quickly find out if who that back marker was. I think it was in a bright yellow car. PT Turva potentially in one of the bright yellows. Another one of the yellows, Langalang in a yellow car. So it could be one of them. We might have to have a look at the replay. But wow, Jamie, what a race.
Fantastic race, yeah, with action all throughout. The midfield battle was amazing, and I was thinking this is a cracking race. But then it just got even better with that at the end there. Bibby was so unlucky. Great race to come through all of those battles. Salty out front for most of the race, no pressure. Then all of a sudden, 5 laps or so to go, he's under so much intense pressure, holds his line, and a masterclass of defensive driving. So for the both of them, congratulations. Shame about the back markers, but absolutely top quality racing for us to watch.
Top quality racing indeed, and of course we want to bring you the live reaction from our racers here to the Twitch stream as we head into our post-race reaction. So here we go. We should be getting some racers into the commentary box to speak to them. As, of course, this evening's winner was Mr. Salt. And hopefully we shall have Mr. Salt in the commentary box with us very, very shortly. Woo! And there he is, Mr. Salt with the win. Unbelievable driving towards the end there. How intense was that finish?
Oh, man, full on. Absolutely full on. Credit to Bibby, though. And... weaving through the back traffic, back markers was insane, but we managed to keep it on the track, and had a great race.
Yeah, masterclass of defensive driving there from you at the end, because for the first sort of 20 minutes of the race, you were out front on your own, not much pressure to deal with, just, a few crazy back markers, which we've obviously been talking about throughout the whole race. Yeah. At one point, we saw one guy driving the wrong way down the track.
I saw that on my screen, and I said to Kevin in our team chat, I was like, I've just seen a car driving the other way. and that's not generally what you expect in
No.
these types of races.
But the two of you did fantastic. But you just seem to be able to position your car brilliantly.
That was exactly it. Yeah, it was just I knew he was quicker. He was gaining, not that much per lap, but he was definitely quicker, and it was coming down.
Yeah.
I didn't. I think I panicked for about half a lap and thought, "Get your shit together." Like, oh, sorry. Get it together, and just put the car in the place where he can't get past, and it worked for quite a few laps. I think seemed like it anyway.
Yeah, no, really, really good driving there. And how difficult is it? You've got fog around you, you've got back markers around you, you've literally got someone hanging on to your coattails all the way around. And of course, your vision is limited because of the cockpit that you're in. Just talk us through how difficult it is to fend off those advances.
Every corner is different. You don't know what to expect. You've obviously got tyres to deal with as well, so they're going off, they're overheating. You've got cars driving the other way at you as well in this race. So every corner is a different challenge, and it's not yes, it's the same lap technically, but it's a different lap every time.
We could see you in particular, more so than Bibby, it seemed, locking up the tyres at the end there. Were they starting to go a bit?
They were really going, and actually, like, the good thing about the fog was the temperatures came down, so the tyres came back a little bit, but then you obviously had the visual, sort of visual thing with that. But I think it is quite easy to lock these cars up, but it's still everyone's got the same car, and that's what makes it fun.
Yeah,
once
fantastic.
again, Mr. Salt, well done. A really
Thank you.
good race to start with for you.
I won the first race of the first season, so hopefully it won't go downhill from here and keep it up there.
Fingers crossed.
Are you going to turn up to all of these ones?
I'm going to turn up to. I've no gigs. I've no social things. I'm going to be antisocial and just do this. Hang out with you.
The perfect start.
Well done. We'll chuck you back into the general chat, and you can get amongst the boys and get some post-race reaction. But once again, well done.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Cheers.
So there we go, Jamie. Reaction from Mr. Salt, an absolute balls of steel there, as people are saying on the chat. A great race from him.
Yeah, and he's clearly chuffed, isn't he? I'm not sure he was expecting that. So he did so well. Fully deserved. Absolutely fully deserved.
Fully deserved indeed. So, of course, we want to try and get some more reaction now. Let's see if Bibby is in the Discord. I'm not sure that he is in the chat.
I'm not sure he is, actually.
No, doesn't look like he is. Unfortunately, we're not getting any live reaction from Bibby. But in third place, I mean, we've got to grab a quick word with him if we can. He fell down for some penalties early doors, but Bob Hump, managed to drag his way all the way through the pack after those penalties and finish the race in third place. Bob Hump, are you there?
What an absolute beansprout!
I mean, you've had, let's say, a roller coaster of a race there. Just talk us through what went off.
It's been different to the last few, hasn't it? It's I just went a split second too early. It must have been a microsecond too early. Straight away with drive-through, so I took it on lap 2, and then I was about 18th, 19th, and then wow, the carnage, the people. There was a lot of it going on, but I tell you what, I had a good fun. Listening to the other guys in the group kicking off every now and then was quite fun for me. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting race, that is for sure.
Yeah, I mean, backmarkers seemed an issue for everyone. At one point we even saw one going the complete wrong way down the track, which was interesting. So was the chat a bit more heated than it normally is? Because it's normally quite good natured. Was there some frustrations?
Frustrations, yeah. I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't like gonna kick off too bad, but it was just people getting frustrated with some silly driving, that is for sure. And I mean, it just looked like a few of them had been in, it was their first race or something like that, but this is the Noob series, we're all relatively new to it, so yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, I must have lost about 10 seconds in other people's mess, and then obviously with my drive-through. So it could have been a different race, definitely. But how the bloody hell I ended up third, I don't know. So yeah, it's what I did last season, so I'll take that.
Exactly right, yeah. It's not like we're doing the one-off series at the moment and third doesn't really count for anything. Actually, third place, early doors, race 1, puts you in good stead for the races ahead, and you must still be confident of your chances.
Yeah, well, I've podiumed on every race we've done, so I'm keeping that up, so that's something at least.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you were playing down your chances before the race, but I mean, we knew you were just.
I genuinely can't stand the cars, so there is that. But yeah, I mean, I've been playing these games for years. I say games. I've been racing for years.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just sort of comes to you. But yeah, I don't like the cars. I can't wait for something else. But I'll be fighting. Don't you worry. I'm gonna take Silty down, haven't I?
That's what we like
You've
to
got to
hear.
be happy with third though, surely after
Yeah.
the battles you had.
Well, I said before the race to myself that if I come out with a podium, I'll take that. I'll be happy with that. Then getting pole, I'll be honest, 1-2 for me in the old Git. I was very surprised at that. But yeah, I mean, getting third after being 19th or whatever I'm very surprised by that. So
Yeah.
happy days.
Well done indeed. So yeah, third place for race number 1, and of course we'll see you for the next race. But a big well done, good start, and I'm sure we'll see you again soon, Bob.
Yeah, can't wait to watch it back, guys.
Indeed.
Well done, Bob. Great race.
Thanks, guys. Catch you later.
See you
Cheers.
later. So that was reaction from Bob Hunt, who made a miraculous, attack through the pack, Jamie, and he did really well to get third place.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we didn't get to see that much of it, but there was just so much going on. I was sort of keeping an eye on his progress, and we jumped in when we could, but just so much action going on with that many drivers.
Exactly right. Just having a look on the chat quickly, there's some calls for some penalties on some of the back markers causing the issues.
Some
and
accusations actually of purposeful takeout, so I think that's going to need to have to be investigated.
Indeed. But yeah, thank you for joining us, T-Mac. It looks like you're off, and of course we will be streaming race 2 of T-Mac's Championship, of course the PC2 Formula Rookie Championship live on Sunday, so please join us again on Sunday for that from around 7:30, 7:45. We'll bring you all the action for that 2 race event. But back to the reaction of this evening, let's bring in race director, race organizer Jimmy H. Official, just to sum up his feelings after the first race of season 2.
Bloody hell. That was fairly crazy.
Where do you start, Jimmy, with dissecting that one?
Hard really. Big, but looked like there was definitely a big crash off the lights. A couple of penalties off the lights for jumping a bit too early. Big crash. Did that classic thing I do. Managed to avoid all the carnage. Gained 10 places, I think. Moved up to like 16th. Then took a knock from the back and a big spin and couldn't rejoin at the back and whatever. But at one point I was lapping someone while being lapped myself. There was a group of people, and I just remember thinking one back marker went one way, and I went the other, and hoping for the pack to get past. And I don't know. I think it was difficult for those trying to lap. I hope I wasn't part of any of that. I like to think I did my best to keep out of the way. So well done to those guys for getting through unscathed. But it was a fairly busy race, I think, with lots going on, some interesting positions. I think Bob finished third after dropping down to 19th or something like that after penalty. I enjoyed it. I raced absolutely terribly and missed all the corners, but whatever.
But you enjoyed it. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good work all over, Jimmy, from organising it once again. I'm sure there's lots to dissect for you post-race from some of the comments we're seeing on the chat and in the Discord. So we'll leave you to go and soak all those in and,
Yeah, just having a look now. I guess the important thing to remember is not just to necessarily be slapping penalties on everyone, but perhaps this is a Noob Gamers Championship. There are some very good drivers, and there are some not very good drivers. Myself being one of them, and I think it's more of a case of kind of educating those others to say, here's what you do when somebody's steaming up behind you. Here's maybe how you take this corner. Try this, try that, rather than saying, right, you can't race next week, or right, here's a replace penalty for you or something like that. I don't think that's fair. I think kind of we're here hopefully to educate some of the newer drivers like me and some of the other guys in Noob Gamers. So and it's really good to have those faster drivers on board racing with us. So I think we're quite grateful for that.
Exactly right, yeah. But thank you for joining us for your reaction after that. We'll let you go and chill out and cool down with the rest of the boys. And of
Thanks,
course,
chaps.
we'll see you for race 2.
Okay, see you next week.
Cheers, Jimmy.
So there we go, live reaction from race director Jimmy H. Official. As he says, Jamie, there were mistakes, there were problems caused by people in that race, but of course this is a Noob Gamers Championship. It's designed for beginners, and we want to educate, so hopefully nothing too harsh will be handed out to racers.
It is. I mean, the only question is if someone, which is what we've seen a few accusations, if someone's doing it on purpose, then that's different, obviously. But if it's genuine mistakes, then yeah, no problem at all.
Exactly. I'm sure the footage will be dissected by everyone. So there we go. That was reaction from the races. Let's head back to the studio now. So there we go, a little bit of reaction from the races. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you a reaction from Bibby, who wasn't unfortunately in the Discord. But your top three this evening: Mr. Salt in first, Bibby in second, and Bob Hump in third, which kicks us off for race 1 of the Noob Gamers Championship very, very nicely. Well, Jamie, I enjoyed that. How did you feel about it all?
Yeah, it was absolutely frantic, but it was everything we hoped for, really, wasn't it? And more. I don't think I'll ever forget the guy going the wrong way. I feel like you need to screenshot that, capture that for a little 3-second clip and put that on as the Facebook heading or something. That captures the Noob Gamer spirit brilliantly, I think.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, it was something that we've never seen on this channel before. Unbelievable scenes from that. But yeah, lots of penalties chucked about, lots to learn from the races, I'm sure. But I think, Jamie, it's that time of the night as we start to close down the channel. And of course, we ask you guys on the stream whether you want to go raiding. We did, of course, on Sunday go and raid someone doing some beautiful art. They also got their hamster out. And that's not a euphemism. They actually got their pet hamster out for a little bit of a chat. So if any of you guys on the stream want to go raiding this evening, we do need 2 or 3 little shout outs if you want to go raiding. So please let us know on the channel now. Just while that's happening, while we're waiting for you guys to get involved, I'll start having a little look just to see if we can find anything. So if you can just talk us through, Jamie, what happens on a raid, just in case we're going to go raiding.
Well, we're going to have a look around. Normally you give me a couple of choices and we'll get the chat involved to help us pick who to go to. And then what we're all going to do is all jump over to their channel and give their numbers a little boost. And I know personally you like to try and find someone who's only got a few people watching and give them a bit of an inspirational bunch of guys.
Exactly right. I haven't got the chat in front of me, Jamie, but have we got any call outs for a noob raid this evening?
Yeah, there's a couple. We got Odyssey, we got 024 SCP, we got Rob3 getting involved. Rob3 loves a raid, we know that. He loves the weirder the better for Rob.
The weirder the better indeed. So let's have a look. So we're going to give you guys the choice this evening. So it's official, we're doing a raid. So do we want to go just chatting or do we want a gaming stream this evening? So very quickly, if you can just drop us a little line in there and say gaming or chatting. Gaming or chatting. We'll have a quick vote and then we'll start looking to see who we're going to go raiding with. So please let us know if you want to go raiding, if we want gaming or chatting very quickly. And we'll say
one shout for gaming.
One shout for gaming so far. Gaming from
2 shouts for gaming,
Schoolboy.
yeah.
So it looks like for the first time ever we're going to go on a gaming a gaming raid, which is something different. We always like to do something a little bit different, but this evening we'll keep it par for the course and go gaming. Lots of shouts for gaming, so I think that's official. We'll go gaming. Let's see who we've got then. I've got some people live this evening. We'll go. Maybe we'll keep it, a little bit normal.
You're going to go normal or a bit weird?
I think we're going to go normal this evening. I'm just looking at who we've got following. So the options this evening, we're going to go standard. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is option 1, and option 2 this evening is the game For Honor. So For Honor is the other game chosen this evening. So there's your 2 choices. So we've got For Honor or we've got Black Ops 4. So let's have a look in the chat and see what we want. So it's Black Ops 4 or For Honor. So let's have a quick vote on that, and then of course we'll go raiding.
I like that sentiment, really. For Honor, I like that. 4H.
4H. He's not messing around, is he?
Yeah.
Any more votes while I'm looking, Jamie?
For Honor. Yeah, all 3 votes for that, so I think it's that.
Looks like we're going For Honor then, boys and girls. So let's find a nice little stream for you. So I think I found one. Let's go and make sure that they have a microphone and they're talking and they're engaging, because you know we don't want to just go into to anyone. So we're going to go raiding this evening for a For Honor channel, and it's Kylebyte who is currently streaming that. So let's get this set up. We'll get the raid set up now. So the raid has been set up. Hopefully you can join us. When we join the chat, please drop Kylebyte a follow, and of course use the hashtag NoobRaid. Jamie, have you got anything to say to our viewers before we leave them this evening?
Yeah, just thanks very much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have. And, I'm already looking forward to, not next Thursday obviously, having a gap, but the week after, getting back involved.
Exactly right. So yes, that was race 1 of the Noob Gamers Season 2 Championships. We're going to go raiding now for Honor. We're going to go raiding. We're going to join Kylebyte as he battles his way through the game. Thank you for joining us this evening for race 1, and we'll see you again on Sunday for race 2 of the Formula Rookie Championships. We've been Noob Gamers. You, of course, have been fantastic, and we'll see you again soon.